Hey yo.
Hey yo. Throw it up. Too sweet, brother.
Too sweet, my bro. Too sweet, my bro. Okay, guys. As we've warned you guys before, it's me, the one AJ Anthony Jordan, aka Too Sweet Tony.
And me, Double V, the Viceroy, Verisimilitude, Nico AJ.
Okay, guys, what we're going to do right now is you will see the full ministry on a regular basis. That's not a thing. It's not just us two. But however, on a week to week, right after we are the Silver Screen Dudes, we will just become the Ministry of Wrestling. So you will definitely be going back to the original format, as it were, of the podcast and have Nico and AJ just giving you a bit of a rundown and a bit of news. So we are going to be talking the madness that is SummerSlam 2022. This is the SummerSlam reaction show. Yeah, I mean, if you read the description, it's kicked off of I'm not going to fake it. Let's not fake it. Let's not cut any shit. Nico doesn't even know where we're going with this because I thought normally we discuss it and then we have all our great points going out.
I'm listening.
Before we press record.
Oh, great points.
Yeah. So here we go. Did the Silver Screen Did the Ministry of Wrestling miss something? Do we owe WWE an apology? And I get it, right? We came in and we flat out said it. It was like it's predictable as fuck. The show was as predictable as hell. And again, we are good friends. We chat all the time, but we don't often meet up. And maybe this is our sin. This is what I think is maybe our sin. Because we knew what was going on there, we didn't give the talent the chance to show what they did. And I feel like nothing... Like, I go back to Forbidden Door, which were first-time matches for 95% of it, right? I wasn't there, but I feel like that's what gave you guys a chance of, right, let's see what's going on. No one knew what to expect. It was unpredictable because it is a touch of fresh faces. And I kind of put that in our group chat. We've put it out there before. WWE does not have shit talent. They've just been booked wrong.
No, yes, correct.
Now, these results are predictable. As they were, the only match that separated us was Judgment Day versus the Mysterios. And it literally came down to a case of when...
Who's the biggest jobber?
It was when does Edge interfere? The minute Edge interfered determined who was going to win the match. And that's really sad. But if you follow the rest of the world, everybody is
losing their mind.
SummerSlam 2022 was one of the greatest SummerSlams they've seen. And I would never accept that.
No,
I will never accept that. The winds of change are definitely there. Let's kick it off, and I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Bianca versus Becky. I didn't give as much love as I should have. I was catching up with the guys. I was like, we all voted the same way. Who cares? The ending of the match definitely showed us something because Triple H not only gave us the return of Bayley, Io Sky, as she's now called, which I'm still not fond of, that WWE is still changing names. What I will point out after in a sec.
It's not one name anymore. He still gets two.
Yeah, exactly. And we also got a return in Dakota Kai. What I love about this, more than anything, the return was awesome, right? The set was a heap of shit, but I understand now with Brock's traction.
Some people are praising that too, which makes it makes it kind of look like a little indie thing. I'm like, why the fuck would you want SummerSlam to look like a little indie thing?
You're the biggest company for wrestling. That just doesn't make any sense. I reckon they just couldn't go fancy. Yeah, I reckon they couldn't go fancy because Brock's tractor just needed to come out, and that was like, they didn't want to fuck up like thousands of dollars of LED lights.
Right. So making that long ass runway was good then, yeah?
That was dumb as fuck. But that was that. But what WWE are doing, and I don't know if you've been on the socials, they're actually telling people who these stars are now. So, like, you know where Walter just became Gunther and that was it. Pete Dunne becomes Butch and that's it. They actually they literally highlight who they are. So they're like, check out Io Sky from before, and they show the dive. You know where she puts the bin on herself at War Games and dives off?
Yeah,
they're doing that. They're showing you who Dakota Kai was.
Good.
Like, giving them, and that's what I like. Like, let's not pretend we don't know who they are, and that's the positives. But I'm still gonna say it. Like, Logan Paul was freaking amazing. Yeah,
surprising.
He delivered, and I think for all the we've hired a celebrity, we've got a good star in this guy. What he's going to do, I don't know.
He's an athlete. He's definitely an athlete.
But was it really that great of a pay-per-view?
Bro, this is the question I've been racking my brain about. I think I'm going to tread lightly here because I don't want to go on a WWE bashing. It's not what I'm about today. Notice I said today.
You were on Sunday. You're like, I just, it's what I do.
Oh, bro, on Sunday, I'm going to be honest with the Ministry fandom here. Like, I smoked a fucking zoot and I couldn't give a shit. Like, and like that, listening to the reaction of some people has made me think maybe I was too stoned to remember. Let me go and rewatch this thing. And I rewatched it. I still don't get it. Apologies for the noise. My window's wide open. I still don't get this fanfare that's greeted it. I think Big Tone said it quite well on our group when he was like, I think people are getting a bit overhyped by the fact the Hunter is taken over. I'll be the first to say I didn't think we were going to see the thumbprint of Triple H appear this quickly. It's definitely there. It's there. The fact that Dakota Kai showed up literally on his first premium live event. They need to go back to just calling it a pay-per-view. I'm sorry. That bullshit like that needs to stop. And I hope it will. But
I think the reason they say it is because everything is pay-per-view essentially if you're on the network, isn't it? So that's probably why. But yeah, I get you. It's a dumb name.
It's like fucking deciding to call Yellow Amarillo after so many years.
But you know what? Just call it a live event. If anything, just call it a live event. You don't have to call it premium live because what else are you showing live? What, table for free? Allow it.
You can definitely see the start of Hunter's influence here. But look, I've rewatched this and yeah, the athletes have got great chemistry. But what they were fighting against, and this isn't the athlete's fault, and it's certainly not Triple H's fault. What they've been fighting against in the build-up to this pay-per-view is exactly that. Terrible build-up.
Yeah.
Which is happening in a pre-Triple H era. Maybe people have been forgiven and being like, considering how shit the build-up was, look how great the matches turned out. It's like, great in the sense that the people had great chemistry with each other. Becky and Bianca, should call them that to be honest. Becky and Bianca do have great chemistry together. Logan Paul was a surprise. I'll always get a kick out of seeing Rey Mysterio, obviously. But there's things I'm hearing. I'm like, really? Like either the only thing I can legitimately put this down to is that I think. I don't know this. I'm just assuming is that maybe people watching this have lowered their expectation level with WWE so much that when it's moderately good, it's like, oh, it's amazing. It's like, because I've heard things said like the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns is one of the greatest last man standing matches ever. I'm like, huh?
I think it was a fluffed ending. I'll give you this now, right? There's two things. Let's go back to this image. This was
iconic. This is going to be history now.
Iconic, but did it not get annoying to you?
Yes. Hugely.
So there's a point where it was cool, but then it was unable to produce a match. And then everything's just literally focused around one small corner of the ring. And that bugged the hell out of me. Like, was it
Leon or Den that said you'd be pissed if you were that person sitting on the corner that got left?
Exactly. Yeah. Could you imagine paying as much as you did? Like, we're lucky to be where we are. But anyhow they do that at Clash at the Castle, like if you do that, we riot. Like straight up, WWE. Like that is not happening. But like, take the flip side of it. It's like you've actually demolished the match. Now I appreciate what I loved behind it was it made Brock Lesnar the monster because it took every Superman punch, it took every Uso, it took Paul Heyman, it took Roman Reigns to the absolute level to stop him. But it's like he's being counted out while they were stacking the stuff on him. And before they even got a chance for Roman to stand on top, you got this ring in the bell. And I was like, you just fluffed the ending so badly.
So badly.
It just didn't feel right, you know? I think I would have preferred that they stacked everything.
And then just let it be.
He stood up and then, you know, maybe the ref was counted out, like knocked out or something. And then they pick him up. One of the Usos drag him up and it's like, count his ass out. Like, I get it. But it was like, you're just stacking everything on him. And it was like 10 before you even put like the final item on. It felt fluffed.
It felt fluffed, and despite the fact that some of these wrestlers, so that's a side thing. The whole is it one of the greatest last man standing matches ever? In my humble opinion, hard fucking no. Like absolutely no way, no how. it will be remembered because of that iconic image of the ring being gutted and lifted up into the air. So it's become part of history now, whether we like it or not. But as a match, was it one of the best ever? No, really.
I had a good ending, and I would have to rewatch it, but I would say good ending, apart from the flush finale, the fluffed finale. Like, Super Brock was definitely on display, and I did like that.
Fine. This is kind of coming back to the greater point that I'm making here is, yes, the wrestlers in WWE are great. Yes, when they get it right with their pageantry, Cody arriving at Mania, you jump out your seat. You scream, even if you're watching this going, yes! You know, when these guys get it right, it's very hard to compete with them on an entertainment level, right? It's too predictable. It comes back to the point you were making at the beginning using Forbidden Door as a point of reference. It doesn't matter how good Becky and Bianca's chemistry is. And it is great. When I know that Bianca's going to win, it's... Do you remember when we watched that Rey Mysterio Brock Lesnar match a year or two ago? Yeah. And Rey came in with that metal pipe. And we were all like, Brock's going to kill him. There was that moment where it was like, the fuck?
Yeah. Is it possible? And the thing is, don't get me wrong, WWE do that. We had it with the Usos versus the Prophets. It's like, well, you get that little 10-second flash of losing your shit. Of, hold on, you lose logic for 10 seconds. And then it goes back to, obviously, it goes to where it is. And I get that.
And we didn't have that for most of these matches. We all the matches we knew. Here's another one, Kofi Mania. I'll never forget you when Daniel Bryan pinned him before Kofi lifted the belt. You actually jumped out your seat and went, don't you fucking dare. Right? It was like reverse suspension. It's like they trolled us to make think maybe we're not going to get Kofi Mania, right? But going into Kofi Mania, we were like, it has to happen, it has to happen, it has to happen. But we were like, it also could not. We were very aware that this was not a done deal. There was not a single match at SummerSlam other than the one that depended upon someone's fucking entrance arrival, where we were like, there's some here which I'm unsure about. Despite Leon's best attempts to go, this is hard, you know, it's not.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. Even down to Brock, which we will discuss in a bit more depth later on, of if it's the end or not for him. You kind of know with the run that Roman's on, there is only one of two potential end games, but 2.5. You know, and Brock Lesnar sadly isn't one of them. Yeah, Theory's a potential. Cody's another. The Rock is like what feels like the goddamn guarantee. Like it is.
You really think Theory's winning shit now that Daddy's gone?
They're gonna play with him. They're gonna toy with him. I reckon he will.
He's being jobbed so hard at the moment.
But that's what gives you the theory that the theory. It gives you the thought he would never win. You know, like make the kid job out. Get F5 out of his boots. Like it's there. Like if you were gonna fuck him over there and then. Like you could have had Roman and Brock literally play ping pong with this kid, and I'm not joking. He was small enough for them to literally play piggy in the middle with him, like just throw him about.
And he's not a little guy, so that speaks volumes about them.
Yeah, exactly. They are brick houses, you know. And this is the thing. It's like, what is it that is needed? And I think the arrival of a Bailey and a Dakota Kai, but it's even then, it's like, will Bailey be each other? Like it gives you a bit more, but it's the excitement of seeing new faces. I think what Raw done as well with I kind of predicted where it was going, but the challenges for who's going to challenge Bobby Lashley, like you could feel that Ciampa is on the come up because he's Triple H's boy. Like
that's been confirmed today in the reports. Apparently, Ciampa's in for a big fucking push.
Well, bro, like he won. Like there was 2 3-man fatal 3-way. I can't get him out now.
Fatal 3-way.
We'll call it that. That's no, triple threats. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh God, you tricked me there. Fuck.
Guys, we've just done another 3-hour podcast.
All the wrestling fans will be like, "It's triple threat, you dickheads."
Yes. Who's up wrestling fans? Unsubscribe now. Please stick with us. But like, there was 2 triple threats that actually gave you something. Have you seen the ending to how AJ Styles won his triple threat?
No.
Thing of beauty. Absolute thing of beauty. It's I think The Miz, AJ Styles and Ali, and yeah, it's a thing of beauty. But it's now giving us a chance to see certain stars Okay, AJ won and what have you. But it's now giving us a chance to see certain stars get elevated. Because again, we keep saying
The fact that Ali was even present is supporting the point you're making.
Yeah, do you know? And this is the thing. It's like, let's build on it. Yeah. When you see the finish, despite the fact that you hate the finisher, you'll be like, well played. You've given me something different. There was no surprise roll-ups in this. You're giving us something different. And this is what we're looking for. The talent is there. And this is why SummerSlam, like, probably did have the performances, but it was predictable performances. Like, you could give a great match, but wrestling relies on an end result. Like, okay, we go into Endgame. You knew the Avengers were going to win, but it's how are they going to win? You know,
on your left, that's the moment.
What was there in any of these matches? Like, we knew that somehow or another, Liv was just about going to get Ronda, and this was the turn for Ronda because she's going to lose her shit. Like,
although somehow on their website they're still having Ronda listed as a face.
Come again?
Mm-hmm.
They wrote the WWE link face and heels on their page.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you're shitting me.
I'm serious.
You're shitting me.
It's there.
I did not know that. I thought it was just Raw and SmackDown, and that was it. And then, you know, it's weird bits. Like, I don't know what their angle is unless someone's legitimately injured. What happened with Seth Rollins and Riddle? Like, where are we going?
What was the point? What was the point? It's like, I know that you want to do the match at Clash in the Castle. Okay, cool. So
maybe it's to make Seth look that bit more evil. Like, he keeps attacking the injured guy, and then it's the overcome. But again, you're now feeding me stuff that we've seen so much that it becomes predictable. You're like, okay, well, the downtrodden Riddle's going to win. Like, it's going to take a lot for it to change perspective. I don't know. I'm genuinely confused. I'm happy in one side. I'm genuinely happy because of the changes Triple H making. Like, we've seen a fashion that apparently Vince had shut down. He didn't want to know about Dakota Kai and Io Shirai teaming with Bayley, even though that was pitched. Triple H really made it happen so much so that he's rehired really superstars. He's putting guys like Ali in a chance to win a title. And hopefully in the near future, we will see these guys holding titles. But I
genuinely believe if Triple H is there, we will. Triple H, I'm going to say this. I've not made any secret on recent episodes of my disdain for WWE's booking system and for their acceptance of mediocrity. Because there's no other way to put it. They are happy to give you predictable pay-per-views, awful builds, storylines around the title that revolve around that belt looks nice. I would like to challenge for it. No build, no visible ranking system or like appearance of some ranking of who ranks where, who sits where, who's mid-card, who's what. It's just, no, my music plays, I interrupt you, I want that belt. That's been their storyline for the last 18 months, and I'm over it, which is why I don't watch Raw and SmackDown live anymore. Simon Miller, shout out to you. I'll watch your up and down show. If I hear that it's a particularly good show, I'll tune into the highlights. Now I'm toying with the idea of starting to watch these bad boys live again. You see? There is the great changer. I am a wrestling fan. And when I see the biggest wrestling company in the world doing shit wrestling, it pisses me off. Because when I look at the other guys who I rave about every week, AEW, doing so well on a quarter, if that, a quarter of the budget, with a quarter, if that, of the revenue that WWE are making, and having complete and utter creative dominance, I just think this should not be the way. It's not because I'm like wanting the downfall of WWE. What have I always said to you off air? The rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
If AEW do well, I want that to push WWE to do well, and that pushes them high, and that raises AEW, and that then maybe raises NJPW and TNA. And look what rising tide raises all ships. Ring of Honor, amazing pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, right? Yeah. Rising tide hit. Now, for reasons beyond my understanding, the previous regime decided that, well, the tide can rise over there. We're going to be in like a dockland. We're going to be our own separate body of water. It's like, but why? You don't have to identify yourself as like, it's not belts. It's whatever it is. It's titles. A belt is meant to keep your pants up. It's like, it's not funny, man. It's just like, why even make a point of this?
Yeah.
It's not even worth fucking mentioning. It's like, we're not going to build our.
Do you know what it is? It was focusing on the wrong stuff. It's focusing on the wrong stuff. It's focusing on the wording of something, not being a wrestler, being a superstar, being a title, not a belt.
Gives a fuck.
You know,
let the fans decide who the superstars are based on their performances. We're the ones, and that's what Tony Khan gets, is that it's fan driven. As much as the previous lot wanted it to be like corporate driven, it's not. It's an entertainment. It's a service, if anything, that the fans reciprocate and receive. And we let you know, not just with our hard-earned money. And this is the difference. It's not just with our hard-earned money. It's with our emotions. Oh, head of the table. It's with our emotions that we speak to you. And that's the magic of wrestling, because you can sing and chant in a football stadium, a rugby stadium, a soccer stadium. And players feel it, not like in wrestling.
I don't think anything.
Nothing is like, and that is the magic of wrestling. And to have that, say what you will, to have that essentially handicapped from us, because you can't keep singing and have the same level of gusto for the same 8 people for 18 months. That's why, look, Cody in AEW wasn't even one of my favorite fucking wrestlers, bro. What did I?
4-star Cody, wasn't it?
3-star Cody. That was the name I gave him. As like, you will never get a bad match with Cody, but he's never going to set my world on fire. No, that said, his last match with Sammy Guevara was fucking amazing. I can't lie. That was an amazing match. But then look, he comes to WWE. He gets, I mean, the pageantry in AEW is one thing. The pageantry that comes, the pageantry in WWE fits so much better with his character.
Yeah.
You know, his whole persona fits WWE so well. And I know that's crazy to say considering who he is, but it just is. You know, his larger-than-life suits and his hair and that tattoo, it smells WWE in a good way, Yeah. You know, he arrives, all of a sudden, it's a shiny new toy. Oh, my God. It's not Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. It's something new. So, oh, well, what a breath of fresh air. Cody isn't even one of the top AEW wrestlers. Yeah. And we're getting excited about him. That's how much we were screaming for novelty. We needed to hear wrestling has more than one family because we were so bored of the same families. And it was
with maximum respect to the bloodline. But yeah, it was just
course.
It was just nothing.
There was nothing. So the lack of novelty, and that lack of novelty wasn't just with the superstars being, let's be honest, recycled. It was with the booking system being recycled. It was with
in every match. You could
move set and the screwy finishes is that outside interference, distraction, surprise roll up, DQ. It's like, please just do a clean ending. Now, did you notice in SummerSlam the endings were clean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That made me think. Like the only shenanigan-y one which actually worked was Ronda Liv.
Yeah. And it's literally a case of survival in this case because you're against a legitimate machine.
Yeah.
Like, irrelevant of what Den says, she's a UFC fighter versus,
100% versus a pixie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you do shenanigans that way, and it's not being done every single fucking match, the shenanigans feel good. So go back to the NWO days, and it's like, well, we'd like to do this match, but we know fucking Razor Ramon's going to come out here and fuck with us in a moment. So we can't finish this title match.
Yeah.
And, when it was the NWO fucking with people, we loved it. Because the rest of the show, they just allowed the wrestlers to wrestle.
Yeah.
Shout out to WCW.
Yeah. And it's those little bits. And this is the part where it's, I put it out on our Insta and TikTok. Build levels, build tiers. Yes, it may suck that you may love Ricochet and you may never see the version of Ricochet you want, but you know what?
You won't.
Ricochet in a decent storyline is all we're asking for. Do you get it? You don't have to. Rey Mysterio is not Rey Mysterio Jr. It's a fact. It's just fact. He's old. Jeff Hardy's not Jeff Hardy anymore. It doesn't matter which side of you want to go to.
Correct.
Chris Jericho is not going to hit lion sorts like he used to back in the day. Correct. Father Time will get the better of you, amongst other things. But you can still be involved in a thrilling storyline. And that's what wrestling is. That's what wrestling is. It's a narrative, not only through the mic, through the ring. Your movement sells a lot. And the fact Yeah.
Remember I said to you on our SummerSlam prediction show, remember we were getting towards the end and I had one of my little rants and I flipped our entire prediction on its head. I'm like, but what if we were it wrong for every single match? Look how interesting the cards become.
Yeah.
Corbin beats McAfee. Ronda beats Liv. Becky defends Bianca. All of a sudden, you're like, what the fuck? And now you're tuning in to be like, well, I need to see what happens next because this is not done.
Yeah. I think under Vince, I would love to have seen, as I said, under Vince, I would have loved to have seen a reverse because it's like, oh, maybe he's changing shit. Whereas under Triple H, I feel like let's stick with this and make your gradual improvements and let's see the build. And I feel Raw was very positive for that. It just felt
yet to watch it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, it just feels like everyone's getting a chance. There are some stuff that you're closing storylines, which I also appreciate because I don't want it just to be like, oh, well, that was said and that was gone. Like, don't insult me. If there's a feud, irrelevant of how shit it is, close it off. Close it off and let's just move on. Let's build. Let's see what happens. And I feel like a lot of stars are now going to be who they want to be. And I feel, again, it helps. And I'm not quoting the almighty Attitude Era when I say this, but it helps to have a star from the Attitude Era in there. Because what those stars realized was it was taking your own personality and dialing it up. So I don't have to give you this random gimmick that, Piper Niven, who has killed it on the Indies, killed it in NXT UK, is now randomly Doudrop and no one knows what the fuck Doudrop
Piper Niven, who became Viper.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good idea to change Viper to Doudrop. I'm like, why?
Well, this is it. And these are the situations. Like,
Stop having Raquel Rodriguez do that.
That's
that
smile.
Creepy fucking smile she does. Is that stop?
Yeah.
She's a murderer. She's like a bona fide killer in the ring, man. Let her dominate. Don't just become like, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, like what is that? Like those gimmicks never work. Like, who are you? Like, remember when Kurt Angle done that, he'll take the mic and wind you up the fuck more. You can't just come out happy, smiley. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The last person to do it was Bob Backlund, and then he ended up snapping. Like, we need to see something, not just happy, smiley. Like, that's a jobber. The jobber's happy to be in WWE. Can't believe they're in WWE. Gets fucked. That is not who Raquel Rodriguez is. She's a monster.
Right.
And that's the one. Now, talking of monsters, you categorically said it multiple times, I think, maybe on the last pod and on SummerSlam night itself. Have you changed your mind? Have we seen the end of Brock Lesnar? Or will we see Brock Lesnar again? Or do you still believe this is it for him?
I'm going to stick to my guns. I think that's it.
It's a weird one, bro. I don't think it is. It's a weird one because
the only reason I say not is because it's a very strange way for him to end, and I feel like he deserves something a bit more grandiose than that because he's Brock Lesnar. But remember, Brock Lesnar, the reason I say I think it's the end is because I also think he's not the type of guy who likes grandiose.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I suppose would Brock leave on a win?
The monster sails off into the sunset as McMahon's last great project.
But this is the thing, and I'm not saying Brock doesn't have a good relationship with Vince, but do you really and truly believe it was that tight that he doesn't trust anyone else?
Yes.
To look after his product?
Yes, I do believe that. I do believe that.
I feel especially now.
I think the people running WWE now are people who he used to shit on and bitch around and twat around in the ring. Brock, from what I've seen of him in UFC, from what I've read about him, watched about him, he's very, very much set in his ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't really see the forest for the trees unless it benefits him or unless that I don't think he can see the forest for the trees. I think Brock got his break because of Vince. Brock decided that Vince good, everything else unimportant. Vince loved having the monster, praising him, and he deserved praise. He pushed Brock, and there was a mutually beneficial relationship there. And I don't think Brock feels the need. Remember, he's always been on the fence about still wrestling anyway. Like, you got to remember, he's over 40 now. Like, Brock's got some age to him. Like, he's got nothing left to prove. He's got nothing left to achieve. He's won everything substantial that he needs to win. If he's not a Grand Slam champ, do I see Brock going to fuck with a US title or a tag team
No,
belt that he never won? Absolutely not. So
He's way
it's not about we need to make Brock a Grand Slam champ. No, you don't. You actually don't. Do you need Brock to be keeping the same company as Jeff Hardy? No, you don't. No disrespect to Jeff, but Jeff's not Brock.
Yeah, and this is the thing. You can't then diminish the beast. It's weird to be like just constantly putting guys over.
No.
There is one thing I think is going to be interesting though, and obviously it doesn't work because there's a US title though. I don't think the business. I mean, it doesn't. Again, it means shit all to Brock. I don't think it's over between Brock and Bobby. Like,
I do. I don't think you're seeing that match again, sadly.
It's an interesting one. It's weird because I think, okay, it's not for grandiose, but I think he would have at least picked up the mic and say, yeah, this is it. I think he needs to. I don't think he wants to leave
you
people
can see
wondering.
Brock getting on the mic and saying this is it and actually being honest with fans. I can't. I love Brock. Let's be clear on that. But what you're pitching to me doesn't sound like Brock now.
Brock Lesnar leaving at WrestleMania 20 was the middle finger, and as he said, it was to Vince, not the fans. Does he just literally I don't know if you've seen any footage recently. He just climbed back up to the part of the ring that he had lifted and like picked up his hat and gave a wave. I don't know. It just feels unsatisfactory to such a legendary character, personally speaking.
You say that, but now put yourself in Brock's mind. What was that image you brought up earlier? And we both said that it's iconic, yeah?
Right.
He's left his mark. His last ever match, he created one of the most visually striking images that will ever be in WWE. Like, let's not downplay this image. It doesn't matter what we thought of how the match turned out or whatever, right? That image belongs in the same iconography. I believe this already. It belongs in the same iconography as Mankind being thrown off of Hell in a Cell, as Kurt Angle with the milk fan, as Austin with the beer, as Big Show and Brock with the power exploding slam. The ring. Yep. This image, it's way bigger than Shooting Star Press for me.
What,
this
Brock's
ring?
Star Press?
This ring being torn up is going to be way more iconic than Brock's Shooting Star Press. I think this is huge as a piece of WWE historical iconography. And he's done that now. He's left his mark. Fuck the US belts and all of these belts that mean nothing to a guy.
He can never be that guy. Brock
what has Brock, he beat The Rock, retired The Rock, so to speak, made The Rock go heel. He ended the Undertaker's streak. He's won the belt so many fucking times we've lost count of it. Is it Cena and Flair numbers? No, but it doesn't need to be. When Brock's been on one of his tears, prior to Roman, he held the belt for some inordinate amount of time.
Yeah.
Brock's got nothing left to do, man. All the biggest things in the industry, he's done. World champion, both shows. Ended the Undertaker's run. Say of that what you will, doesn't matter. History says Brock won. Ended the Undertaker's career. Went and dominated in the UFC. Come back and twatted John Cena. Left you with an iconic piece of ring tilted halfway up in the air. And then waves goodbye with his cowboy hat. Bro, let the fucking beast ride off into the sunset. I can't see why he would come back. The paycheck, of course, but I'm talking about things to do.
It swayed me in a way that I can't say that there's anything left. There is nothing. I didn't think of it that way before, but truthfully speaking, what is left? It's literally coming back to put guys over. Like, I could see him.
And do you see a guy like Brock doing that? Like, Brock is so picky about who he picks, who he puts over, to the degree where the last guy he wanted to put over, McMahon vetoed him. He was like, I want to put Balor over. And he did Balor a solid in that match. And McMahon still was like, nah, not this guy. Or whoever was in charge of booking, Johnny Ace or whatever, whoever the fuck. Brock saw something in Finn Balor and he put on, when Brock makes an effort versus when Brock doesn't make it. He made an effort with Balor. The fact that he had to
Brock Ambrose was not an effort. Balor was. Yeah.
Brock Balor, when he put him in the Kimura, that was something, He let Balor take him to town. That was Brock putting someone over, still winning because they The WWE are never ever going to push Balor. Triple H maybe. It's a weird place now that Hunter's there. I say never, but I don't see why. If I'm Brock, I'm in my mid-40s. I've got those intestinal problems. I have done literally everything there is to do. I am in the debate for the scariest big man in WWE history. I'm in the debate for the scariest big man in UFC history. Not winner, in the debate. I've left iconic visuals wherever I've gone, and I've waved goodbye to the fans in a last man standing match where I am the beast. Fuck am I going to do? Come back and put over bloody Austin Theory?
Cody maybe, Theory never.
Theory never. Cody doesn't need putting over by Brock.
I get it. But do you know, maybe I think it's even if it was a stipulation, not that he needed words, but they said, look, this is your last. If I beat you, know, kind of like what Roman done with Bryan. I know it would be very repetitive, but like that kind of, if I beat you, fuck up.
They can't do Roman Brock again. They can't do it.
No, I know, but had he said that to him, like had it been like, not only would you be the last man standing, I'm gonna wheel your ass out of WWE. Like I don't know what he would have said, but something along that line that just makes it definitive. Maybe Brock is
title versus career. I think that's below Brock, to be honest. Brock is someone who marches to the beat of his own drum. He always has. He lives in a fucking farm in Saskatchewan, for Christ's sake. Brock doesn't like being around people, brother. Like, Brock's not going to have someone dictate to him how his career ends. Brock does a match and he's like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Fuck left do I have to prove? I'm Brock Lesnar.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You've actually out-trumped me on this, where I thought I was like, no, we're going to see more from Brock. You laid out quite a few points. I'm like, I can't outweigh. I can't outweigh it and be like, well, this
could be proven to be wrong. Triple H may come back with an amazing fucking story thread for him. Amazing story thread. I don't know what's happening with Hunter. What I know is I saw a brand called NXT Black and Gold, which for a while was awesome. And I don't remember there ever being a bad takeover under Hunter, ever.
Yeah.
So if takeover is anything to go by in terms of pay-per-view quality, if that's the level we've got to look forward to on the main roster, color me excited. Where or if Brock fits into that, I don't know. I don't think Triple H particularly wants him there, given that he wants to push the new guys and move on. You know, you were saying it on our Movie Mount Rushmore show. Every man, when we were talking about Bob Chapek, every manager wants to double down and have their own. Triple H is no different to that.
It's true. It's true.
Brock doesn't need wrestling anymore. He'll always be welcome, but I don't think Brock needs wrestling anymore. He's done everything. I don't think Triple H needs Brock. I think Triple H needs to bring his talent from NXT onto the main roster and do what's been missing since John Cena, with the highest of respect to Roman, build stars. Build stars. They are there. Build Cody to the level that we can all see he can reach. Give AJ a proper TNA style one final run. Push Ciampa the way that I've been hearing he was amazing. Push Nakamura. You've got these stars.
Nakamura is it. Do you know what's sad? Is that with the pushes at the moment, there's still that ceiling because of the final end game for Roman. And that I don't think can be.
We need to get past Roman. Essentially, between now and Mania, plans need to be set in place for who's beating Roman. That has to happen at Mania now. And what's the fallout of Roman's title changing?
Yeah.
Who are the next? There needs to be a group of next in lines. It could be Theory. It could be Nakamura. It could be AJ Styles. I don't give a fuck. If they're built properly, pick a name out the bag. You said it at the top of the show. There's so much talent on that roster. You could pick any name out the bag. If they are built properly, we keep coming back to with the SummerSlam. They have the matches were fine. The matches in some part were good. The results were predictable because the build was shit. If between now and Mania you can build shit effectively, I don't give a fuck who it is that beats Roman. As long as it's built. Ideally, because I'm going to be there, I would like to see The Rock. But at this point, if you book the road to WrestleMania correctly, Kushti.
Now, here's a question under Triple H. Do you believe you will see your boy, because you just called him, Shinsuke Nakamura as a WWE champ. Universal joint.
I can dream. I don't know. The reason I don't know is because I've only heard rumors. Remember, I became a Nakamura mark from SmackDown. Yeah. I never saw what Nakamura did in NXT with Sami Zayn. From what I've heard, legendary. And from my understanding, it was Triple H that caused all of that. So if it was as good as everyone is saying, why the hell would Hunter not want to recap lightning in a bottle?
He held NXT gold. So if NXT is developmental to build you for the next step, it shows he has faith in the guy. So
this is what I'm saying. I'm not going to comment on Nakamura because if it is there, I think it's so fragile because of what the guy's been put through. Nothing would make me happier. And in fairness, this may have been McMahon's last stroke of genius. The seeds were planted. He did walk out and step up to Roman, and then nothing happened from it.
Weird shit.
I don't think that nothing happening from it was intentional in some form of long-term storytelling, but you could step in and make it that way. You could step in and make it that way. The pieces are there. You just have to, make the play. Yeah. Bishop to knight 2 and all of that. Just play the hand.
Indeed.
No one is going to be objecting Nakamura winning a gold. No one. You've heard him when he comes out of London. People love that guy.
Yeah, SmackDown I think is going to be interesting because we've seen a positive Raw. Apparently a positive pay-per-view. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Still don't see it.
No, man.
As far as I'm concerned, but Raw looked positive to me, and I'm hoping SmackDown will do as well. But yeah, you know what, guys? We're not going to drag what's not to be dragged. So that's that. Nick, would you like to give everyone an update on where the current scores stand for the Ministry?
Yeah, look, there's not a lot to go over with the actual pay-per-view. As AJ's already alluded, we've essentially had everyone got the matches correct other than Mysterios versus Judgment Day. So that's what separated us. Every single other match was identical. So Big Tone, myself, and AJ all chose Judgment Day, and Leon and Den both chose the Mysterios. And so that means that they were joint winners of this pay-per-view, and that takes the overall totals for the season in order. Myself and Big Tone are bringing up the rear on 2 points. Embarrassing for me. AJ, considering I was challenging Den for the top last year. I still maintain if we'd kept going, I would have won, but whatever. C'est la vie. That leaves AJ with middle ground on 3, and joint leaders on 4 points are Leon and Den.
Congratulations, gents. Yeah, guys, next time you see it, you see all of them, will probably be Clash of the Castle predictions, and I'm sure Den will be there ready to gloat and let the world know.
Leon and Den, Glenn, we can call them that. That's the tag team. Glenn.
Leon would love that. You're a Kane, not Taker. But yeah. Just,
so true, though. Yeah. He's got a Kane's hair.
Yeah. But okay, guys. Yeah. No, thank you for anyone who's going to catch us on both pod. Catch us later on. We'll call this more of a VOD squad because, yeah, I'm not too sure how many people are catching us live. No comments in there. But no, this is going to be a weekly thing, guys. We are back. We will be delivering what news we can do. Just while we're on the topic, actually, before I do round up, rumor has it Sasha and Naomi may be back. So we may see the come out, which I'm actually really excited for because they're two great talents, if I'm honest. So Hunter, if you are making this stuff happen, we thank you from now. Yeah, so until the next show, guys, I am the one AJ, aka Too Sweet Tony.
Triple H, keep it coming, man. If this is anything to go by, we're off to a good start. Keep the races going. I'm Double V, the Viceroy of Verisimilitude, Nico Leroux.
We out. See ya.
See ya.